We are getting ready to go live. We're going to go to here, inner circle. And I think we're going live into the Keyspire inner circle on Monday, March the 7th. It is a beautiful day. We had a long weekend away from real estate investing. I feel like it was too long. We went away and spent the weekend with some friends who are not Keyspire, and we did some real estate work, and we kind of took a slow drive on the way home to discover some real estate, but we were kind of I'm missing it. There's a lot to do today.
Yes, there's a lot to do, but it was also nice to have that recharge. We still have to make time for our friends or family and what those hobbies are. As much as I love real estate, and I know I feel like, oh my God, my to-do list is piling up for today. It was nice to have that recharge.
Yeah, it was a great time. And we were in an area just north of Toronto where real estate is booming. So we took a little drive and checked out some waterfront properties there, and it's just a beautiful area. But anyways, it looks like the Keyspire group has been busy with the posts this past week. Lots of successes, lots of great stories being shared, and
welcome to a lot of our new members. Yeah. I love seeing the new post of introducing yourself and letting us know who you are or what your journey has been. I think that is great, especially a week after summit. It is great to see you getting active and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and a lot of people just looking for help and support and asking for suggestions, and they just get filled up with a great amount of suggestions. So what an inspiring group, and to see everything that you guys are posting. Thanks so much.
Yes, and one of my biggest shout out, not only because is our friend, it actually gave us the kick in the butt too, is Fern. He actually posted his commitment to himself, that he actually wrote it as a contract. What is it that he was going to do? Keep himself accountable to it. And I put my hand out there. I haven't written it because it was not a REI weekend, but I will be writing the commitment to myself and making sure that 2022 will be as similar, and I will achieve that goal. So thank you, Fern, for that. Hopefully others will pick up on that too.
Yeah, it just shows, the level of seriousness we have to really give this. And I'm guilty of not taking it seriously in the beginning. And I'm trying to really just focus and change my mindset about real estate investing. You're really making a commitment to yourself and your family and those around you that you want to support, and the charities that you want to support. So, it's really time to kind of bring in this whole new mindset and really go forward with it and take it seriously. So that was a really great post, Fern. Thank you. Now, awesome. This is, as I posted earlier, this is International Women's Day is tomorrow, Tuesday, March the 8th. We are going to have a all-women panel. So you're probably wondering what I am doing here. So I am going to exit and get in the room here some of the women that have been inspiring us in Keyspire over the past couple of years. The women are a force to be reckoned with in real estate investing. And it's been really an awesome ride to see what they are able to accomplish. So with that, I'm going to excuse myself and enjoy, ladies. Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for agreeing to participate. As Jim kind of introduced you, I wanted to have ladies that not only have been successful in the community, you really are showing what it is possible and what it is capable, and how appropriate to actually take this time to bring you aboard, to tell us about yourself, and to celebrate International Women's Day at the same time. So I know that everyone is getting ready for their day. So how about just do a quick introduction about yourself? Let us know who you are and what you do. And because Visible Investor Summit just happened a week ago, maybe for some of the new members, what would be your one advice? It's been a week and we all have gone back to our day-to-day lives. So maybe give us a tip. So to kick us off, Mandy, why don't you let us know who you are?
Thank you so much, Irismar, for inviting me. First of all, it's an honor to be part of this with amazing women such as all of you in this room. And we know that this community is full of them. So thank you. Yeah, my name's Mandy Resendez. I got my introduction to the world of real estate was actually through Keyspire, working in the events space. So, and once that ended, I started actively investing in real estate. So my life at that point was really focused on the events in my work. And once COVID hit, dove into real estate investing full time, with our focus being multifamily, revitalizing communities, and having a strong focus on sustainability. So multifamily and purpose builds. Yeah, that's me. I would say my tip for the coming out of the virtual summit. So it's huge overwhelm. Everybody knows that there's so much information. You've met so many people. You've had access to so many leaders and professionals in the space. It gets overwhelming. So what my advice would be, review your notes within a week. And I know we're at the week mark right now. So if you haven't done it, review all those copious notes you took. If you leave it too long, in my experience, at least for me, it just starts to get, forgotten about and goes under the bridge. And before you know it, you don't even remember the notes that you took and what they were attached to. So review those notes and take 2 to 3 of the top things that you can implement right now and take action on right now, because there's a lot of things in your notes that might not be where you are right now, but there's got to be at least 2 to 3. So focus on those, start implementing, and then grow from there. That's
Awesome.
my tip.
No, that is great. Thank you. I think we were guilty of that. As you mentioned, we just to review our notes and we had a slow start. So that is great.
Yeah.
Adele.
Hi, hello everyone. Hello ladies. First of all, thank you, Irismar. This is really a pleasure and a privilege to be amongst these wonderful women. I mean, I look at your faces and, we see all each other's comments in the KIC and other groups, but it's just such a privilege to be here to speak with everyone. So I am Adele. I'm sure you guys know me. I love to comment in the group, and I love to be a cheerleader for those that, especially the newbies. My journey started quite a while ago, but I did it the slow and steady. So it's 30 years ago, 31 years this year. And I started with the small multiplexes and graduated to larger ones. Yeah. And then I discovered private lending, which is now probably my favorite. That's it. So that's a very quick recap. For the summit, Mandy touched on something of the overwhelm, and it's a lot of notes. And that's an excellent point, Mandy, about reviewing your notes, because they start to not make sense anymore after a while. But so I was going to say, Mandy just mentioned pick something, but it's important to take action. So I would say a small step, because the step, especially if you're new to real estate and haven't invested before, it'll be like, okay, which action? What does that mean, right? So either make it a point, an item in your calendar that, Wednesday evenings or whatever, you're going to speak to somebody, reach out to your coach, or learn how to use the MLS, learn how to crunch numbers, take action, and maybe do something once a week, every week, diligently as an item in your calendar, because you will forget to just take the next step if you just let it go in your notebook and leave it there on your desk, right? So every small action will amount to the larger. It will help you to get to where you have to go. So you joined the group for a reason. You were at the summit for a reason. You have a goal for your future. The only way to get there is small step, small step, small step, and they all end up being part of a larger puzzle to get you where you want to go. So take action, any type, any kind of action.
Awesome. Thank you. Lilian.
Hi everyone. Thanks, Irismar, to invite me in this. I've not seen, I think Mandy is the first time I'm seeing her on screen. I've seen Sari, Adele, I've met her, but this is an awesome forum, and thank you for inviting me here. I was talking myself, Lilian. I think I've been not really active recently, but for past 1 week, you can see me posting a few things, but I've been very quiet, trying to plan things. I'm trying to, when you start acquiring a lot of things, you don't know what you're getting into, and you kind of getting into a lot of paperwork year end and I was really overwhelmed with a lot of other things. So I've been very, very quiet in social media. But recently, since we are in the motel, I kind of posting things and trying to get in touch. And I missed the summit. But in terms of my investor life, I've been in corporate life for 25 years. But my passion is I love properties since I'm young. I bought my first home when I was 19 years old. And I keep buying whenever I want to buy. So I become a real investor, active investor is after joining Keyspire in 2019. And the tips I want to give today is, Mandy have mentioned, they have mentioned most of it, but I would like you all to set your goal and where you are right now. Put in all your expenses and what is your current expenses and what is your freedom that the goal that you would like to achieve. So put it in writing and start looking at it every day. And this is what you want to see. And trust your intuition. At the end of the summit session, you will feel something that I need to do this. And that is what your gut is telling you. And through your experience, you know what you really needed and why you are there for. So trust your intuition, and at the end of the session, you feel, okay, I need to do this. Please write it down. And you also will find someone in the network that you are comfortable to talk with. Just pick one or two of them, just make a phone call or reach out to them, start talking to them. That is the most important thing that you need to do, and then go with the flow. That's my tip for today.
That is awesome. Thank you. Okay. Now, Sari.
I'm joining you guys from Cabo, and all it keeps on saying on my screen is internet connection is unstable. So we'll see how this goes, but thank you very much. I couldn't say no. I wanted to join everybody. My name's Sari Rigma, and I joined Keyspire in 2018, and that started our real estate investing life. And it's just sort of always evolved. So we've just been changing as our gut changes and as we get more comfortable. So that's what we do, is we follow our gut. My most important tip is sort of along the same lines as everybody else, is I really believe in the 1, 3, 5 year goals, because they're pretty cool to look at, and then just reviewing them every 6 months to a year. And it's pretty cool to see, like, you crushed your 5 year goal in year 2 or year 1, because it's in your mind, right? Once you start putting it out there and saying that this is what it is, it actually just becomes a natural thing. And you don't actually realize that it was sort of foreign to you at the start when you put that down on a piece of paper, but you sort of jump big and there you are, you went for it. So that's what I say.
Right. I think those are great tips. Yeah. So thank you. We have them from, reviewing your notes, to really take the time to set a small steps, but set up an action and goals, not to get overwhelmed, but to know what you're driving to. And like Sari just said, get motivated really to crush them, because clearly, Sari, you crushed them in year 2, based on that example. So that is amazing. Yeah. And hence the reason we have this all-women panel today, not only to have a little bit about you and what you do in our community and in real estate, but to celebrate women. And International Women's Day has a theme every year. And the theme this year is break the bias. And break the bias that sometimes it is cascaded through us by just perceptions, by cultural, by language or uses language. There's always something that it is underlying and sadly just gets passed through generations. So in efforts of bringing awareness, I would like each of us to share a bias that perhaps we face or we have seen other face, and how can we better? How can we get better? Because as a society and coming together, we're able to bring the awareness, and we're bringing the awareness, then we're all together, hopefully changing and making our future better for the generations. So to kick off the discussion, I would say my bias has been to be perceived as feisty, and feisty more in a negative context, especially in the work environment, right? Because it's more as an aggression. It's not really as, oh, I'm happy, I'm bubbly, I'm excited, my voice goes up, because I'm just very passionate, right? And if you take me that I am a very self-confident Latina, which I like to say, that is not how it was seen. So for me is, even though that might be your perception, take the time and make the effort to get to know me better and have that perception change, because it's not the negative side. It is actually the happy and positive side. So that's
Yeah.
my share. So Mandy.
Yeah, I can echo that for sure, in especially in corporate settings and in a leadership space. So as a woman in a leadership role, and being confident, being blunt and direct with taking action on tasks, it's often perceived as, like you said, Irismar, aggressive or bossy or bitchy. So yeah, but you know, and I don't want to make this a female male thing, but it's a challenge that women do face in the workplace, whereas a male counterpart would be seen as a strong leader, whereas a female doing the same thing sometimes is perceived just in a negative light when they're doing the same things in a leadership role. And to add to that, you know, I have experience being in the same role as my male counterparts and being paid less, for instance, for the same work. And I know that that's a long-standing issue for women in the workplace. And I think we're getting better. I think we're getting close, but that there's still those things that happen. So as well as accolades and, you know, being in, say, ideation meetings and coming up with amazing plans and ideas. But having, you know, men in the more executive roles in those spaces and not really giving the acknowledgement that it came from this young lady over here, right? They just kind of, that's an awesome idea, run with it. And so, yeah, just finding those biases in the corporate sense in terms of pay, promotion, recognition, and the way we're perceived in those leadership roles.
No, thank you. Certainly something that we can relate, and I will put it out there that we have made strides as a society.
Oh, for sure.
But there's still a lot more progress that we can make. I think, Adele, you had a similar experience for different industry also.
100% everything Mandy said. So I'm going to go a different direction because I could just say, just copy paste that.
Yes.
But mine has been, I've always loved construction. My dad's an immigrant construction worker and loved to tag along doing all the projects. And I'm very lucky that he taught me how to use every tool in the toolbox. You know, I have my own tool belt kind of stuff. And it's the perception. So when a trade shows up for whatever, whether it's our home or one of the income properties, and it doesn't matter if it's a cement worker or a roofer, you know, somebody to build a deck, or they automatically look at my husband and start speaking to my husband, even though I made the call, you know, I scheduled the appointment. When they show up in person, they gravitate towards my husband. And then he'll be like, you're talking to the wrong person. It's her, you know, and then they'll be like, oh, and their attitude changes. And this is not 100% of the time, let's be clear. Some people are, you know, are okay with that, but and then they get all like, and they dumb it down, right? Then they change, like you can see the body language changing and they just dumb it down. And I'm like, but why in 2022 are we still doing this? You know, and it's, I don't know, I think it's going to be a long time before anything like that changes, but, and only once I start speaking about, so whatever it is, you know, whether it's the deck or last summer was concrete, we had a concrete pad put in the backyard. And I started asking questions on the actual cement and when they were going to come to do it. It was like 40 degrees outside and stuff. And then he's like, oh, okay, so you understand cement. You know what you're talking about. And again, you have to prove yourself. It's always like we have to prove that we know what we're talking about. We have to prove ourselves. And it's exhausting, to be honest. It's like it's just automatically, you're a woman standing in front of them. They either dumb it down or they assume you don't know what you're talking about. And it could be a little frustrating.
And again, it's coming to stopping those biases with the education component, right? As you say, you're educating them by actually proving yourself.
Yes, exactly. We have to prove ourselves.
Yeah.
Which ties into the whole corporate thing too. It's almost like women have to I have found that I have had to, and I think a lot of other women, that you have to work even harder to prove that your worth in that industry or environment. Yeah.
Now, Lilian.
Yeah, as Mandy said, in corporate, I've seen a lot of things that you need to prove, but I also mentioned that whatever she said is really, really relevant. And I have seen that happening to show what you know first before they even give you the respect. That is, I feel it's not only by gender, since I'm Asian, so we've been growing with all the while we need to prove ourselves that we are doing, we are worthwhile to be looked at. And that's why it's like very norm for me. It's like been showing that what I know. And even when Adele was talking, when I'm talking to a plumber, very simple example, when we came into this, the motel conversion, when the plumber comes in, oh, this is so difficult. And he was so general about it. Oh, you guys cannot do the plan that you wanted to do. Then I asked him questions like, very detailed questions. And then it backed him off. I said, okay, tell me what you mean by difficult. Have you seen the plan? We are not changing anything. When you start questioning them, that's where they say, oh, I can't take them for a ride, So I face that, but I face that, and I never seen that as a man and woman thing. I feel that it's a human thing, that when people do not know you, they kind of underestimate you, because maybe he is underestimating because we are a woman, but for me, I take it as he doesn't know me, and that's why he's just doing a statement like that based on certain things, and he's trying his best to see whether he can charge us more by saying this is a huge job. So I feel through my experience, it's your confidence level, and women have to take the whole thing. You own it, you take the power and you own it, and that's the only way we're going to win the world, by saying that this is us, and we know what we are doing, and we do whatever we are best in. And I feel like woman empowerment is, I wanted to say earlier, I mentioned that it's not what we are trying to do, what the men do. It's the thing that what we do the best, we are going to do that, and that's it. It's not that we are trying to do what the man is doing. We are trying to be the best and keep on improvising our skills and our capabilities. That's all.
No, that is awesome. Thank you. Because it's true. We need to actually sometimes have role models that tells you, take the empowerment, be confident, because sometimes you don't have it. Sometimes you're shy, sometimes it's cultural, but it's great to have it being repeated.
Yeah.
Sari?
I went through puberty and went into my 20s in the 90s. So unfortunately, that was the blonde joke era. So I felt like I was the brunt of everything. So anytime you like stumble over a word, or anytime you like, it doesn't come off, your whole message isn't coming across just right. I just get brushed off. So that was one thing I went through, but mainly I find like I was a director in social services previously in my career, and was in boardrooms and making big decisions, but also just even on our land developments or in job sites or in real estate. It's I find a lot of the times it's like the bigger voice wins, and I don't choose to really go that direction. A lot of people want to put their egos on the table right away and put them out there. And so if I started a sentence, it doesn't really get quite finished because the louder voice or the person with the stronger opinion wins. And I used to think that, you know what, maybe I'm not educated enough, maybe I'm not old enough yet, maybe it's this. And I always had all these excuses in my head. But, you know, looking at my wrinkles and looking at this and seeing my kids that are taller than me, I'm kind of picking up, I'm like, well, I am old enough, I am smart enough, and I am educated. So No, I find myself usually letting everybody get all their words out and then summarizing what's going on, and usually have a thought or two to add at the end rather than just trying to compete with egos. And that's just sort of what I've done.
Yeah, you learn to manage without taking that pressure, because a lot of the times it will still be a pressure that you carry on your shoulders. So you just figured out what was the best coping managing mechanism for you. But yet, as Kik will know today, these are amazing women in our community. And one way or another, we all have faced bias, intentional or unintentional, just because it has happened in society. And it keeps to. And if we could have taken this little forum today, just to make sure that we start the day with REI, but also celebrating women and the women in the community and contribute to that Break the Bias campaign, then I think it was successful. I love that you guys were able to join. You ladies, sorry, there you go. That's a bias embedded in my brain. You ladies were able to join me this morning and just share with our community not only who you are, what you've been to, what are your tips, but also sharing those biases, because I think that would make us grow and it will make us better, and it will give us a different perspective now, right? When we're talking to trade or we're doing negotiations or we're now stepping out of our comfort zone, have that little bit more power. So
Yeah,
before we kind of part, is there anything that any one of you would like to add and set us off? But I think we had a great discussion, and the goal was achieved, in my opinion. I learned so much, and I'm glad that we were able to share it.
Like to say, I'm really happy I'm a woman. And if there is a next life, I want to be a woman, because we have a lot of roles that we became. We can be a mother, we can be an entrepreneur, we can be, a housemaker. We have a very beautiful multitasking is be given to us, and I'm very proud of that,
And we know how to multitask. There's a bias against men.
Yes.
yeah.
we can train them though.
And I just wanted to say, I love what Lilian brought to the table to really identify that it's not just a male versus female bias thing.
Yes.
Biases come from women to women, and
Yes.
Doing more of things like this where we're all together and we're bringing each other up and talking about it and supporting each other and putting women at the forefront as colleagues, as friends, as a support system, is going to work against that, so that we're supporting each other too, because that is out there as well. And
that's the thing. That's the thing. What I would like to bring to the table is the main thing is the woman is we have to support each other, and plus our own self. We need to portray that we are confident and we can take the role, as whatever role is being given to us. And when we show the confident level, nobody is going to put you down.
Step into that voice.
Yes.
Into that voice, because it's there. We talked about that last night, but we could go on for another.
Yes, we did that. Yeah.
I have to do a part 2.
Yes.
No, but thank you so much again.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
Kik, have a wonderful week, a wonderful day. Celebrate the women in your life, and to the ladies out there in the community, step into your power and know that you can do what you set your mind to. So have a wonderful day.
Thank
and
you,
a wonderful
Irismar.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye,
day.
guys.
Good day. Bye.
Yeah.
I